Iran-United Kingdom relations are the bilateral relations between the United Kingdom and Iran. Iran, which was called Persia by the West before 1935, has had political relations with England since the late Ilkhanate period when King Edward I of England sent Geoffrey of Langley to the Ilkhanate court to seek an alliance. In the year 1553, King Edward VI of England hired the wealthy merchant and explorer Sebastian Cabot to develop a semi-profitable trading company. He was given 2 ships that sailed towards the port city of Arkhangelsk. The captain of one of those ships was CPT Richard Chancellor, who successfully reached the northern city. From there, Sebastian Cabot and his envoy traveled towards the Russian city of Moscow with a business proposition for the Grand Duke Ivan IV the Terrible. When it was accepted, the Moscow Trading Company came into existence. South of the Moscow Trading Company headquarters was the wealthy realm of the Safavid Empire. The company started sending envoys during the reign of Shah Tahmasp I during the first years in business. Anthony Jenkinson was one of the first leaders of these envoys. In total, there were 6 visits and the last one was in June 1579 during the reign of Shah Muhammad Khordabande led by Arthur Edwards. But at the time the company's envoys reached the royal court in Qazvin, the Shah was busy protecting his borders from his arch-rival, the Ottoman Empire. In order to attain the wealth of the country, the company penetrated successfully into the bazaars and dispatched more envoys. In 1597, as Abbas I of Safavid sought to establish an alliance against his arch-rival, the Ottomans, he received Robert Shirley, Anthony Shirley, and a group of 26 English envoys in Qazvin. The English delegation, also well aware of the Ottoman threat, were more than glad to have Persia as an ally against the Ottoman threat. Shah Abbas warmly received the delegation and took them as his guests with him to Isfahan, his new capital. Soon, the Shirley brothers were appointed by the Shah to organize and modernize the royal cavalry and train the army and all other Safavid wars to come. Many more events followed, including the debut of the British East India Company into Persia, and the establishment of trade routes for silk though just in the Strait of Hormuz in 1616. It was from here where the likes of Sir John Malcolm later gained influence into the Kharid throne. Anglo-Persian relations picked up momentum as a weakened Safavid empire, after the short-lived revival by the military genius Nader Shah, eventually gave way to the Kharid dynasty, which was quickly absorbed into domestic turmoil and rivalry, while competing colonial powers rapidly sought a stable foothold in the region. While the Portuguese, British, and Dutch competed for the south and southeast of Persia in the Persian Gulf, Imperial Russia was largely left unchallenged in the north as it plunged southward to establish dominance in Persia's northern territories. Plagued with internal politics and incompetence, the Kharid government found itself fast after their ascendancy incapable of rising to the numerous, complex foreign political challenges at the doorsteps of Persia. During the monarchy of Fath Ali Shah, Sir John Malcolm, Sir Harford Jones Bridges, 1st Baronet, Alan Lindsay, Henry Pottinger, Charles Christie, Sir Henry Rawlinson, Harold Nicholson, Sir John McNeill, Edmund Ironside, and James Moria were some of the British elite closely involved with Persian politics. Alan Lindsay was even appointed as a general in Abbas Mirza's army. A weakened and bankrupted royal court under Fath Ali Shah was forced to sign the Treaty of Gulistan in 1813, followed by the Treaty of Turkmenchay after efforts by Abbas Mirza failed to secure Persia's northern front against Imperial Russia. The treaties were prepared by the Sir Gore Uzeli with the aid of the British Foreign Office in London. Sir Gore Uzeli was the younger brother of the British Orientalist William Uzeli, who served as secretary to the British ambassador in Persia. In fact, Iran's current southern and eastern boundaries were determined by none other than the British. During the Anglo-Persian War, after repelling Nasir-Din Shah's attack in Herat in 1857, the British government assigned Frederick John Goldsmith of the Indo-European Telegraph Department to determine the borders between Persia and India during the 1860s. In 1872, the Shah signed an agreement with Baron Julius de Ruyter, which George Nathaniel Curzon called the most complete and extraordinary surrender of the entire industrial resources of a kingdom into foreign hands that has ever been dreamed of. The Reuter concession was immediately denounced by all ranks of businessmen, clergy, and nationalists of Persia, and the concession was quickly forced into cancellation. Similarly, the tobacco fatwa, decreed by Grand Ayatollah Mirza Hassan Shirazi, was an incident which raised popular resentment against